Hey everybody, this is Darren and you're watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies. And today I've got a long list of some really great movies coming to Amazon Prime today. They're coming today. Dude, whose hair is this? So every month I review everything that's coming to all the major streaming platforms. I break them down. I like to tell you what to watch, mostly what to watch and not what not to watch. Netflix is actually having kind of a poor month. There's not a lot of great ones coming. I'll be sure to inform you of the best on other videos over the coming weeks. But Amazon Prime really surprised me. They have got just an epic list of stuff coming. I want to give you my favorite picks of everything that's available as of June 1st, which is today.
I try not to fall asleep, everybody.
Am I hearing an accent?
No. What do you mean?
Number one, The Disaster Artist. It is one of the newest movies coming to the platform this month. I know it's one a lot of people missed. If you did see it, odds are you probably loved it because you were really into The Room and you just had to see it. I really enjoyed this movie. I've seen it twice, once in the theater, once with my wife. She knew nothing about The Room, the movie on which this is based, and she still really enjoyed it. Everybody gives really great performances, but particularly James Franco. I do feel like his brother doesn't quite hold up to him in this movie. They're not really on equal footing in terms of their acting chops, but it's doable. It works okay. But everybody's really great in it, and it's really fun to watch. And there's some heart in this story as well. You sort of see this friendship develop in a really interesting way, in a very unusual way. If you don't know anything about this, in the early 2000s, they released a movie called The Room. It's really bizarre. It's one of the worst movies ever made, yet it's been playing in theaters ever since, and it's really hailed as a cult classic. This movie's based on a book written by one of the guys, and it essentially tells the story of how they met and how this movie got made. So you have to know that going in, but you do not have to have seen The Room to enjoy this movie. Another fairly recent one is The ICEMAN with Michael Shannon. I've talked about it on the channel before, so I'll be brief. Cool movie about a real hitman. It's a true story. Michael Shannon is a monster in this. The thing that's cool about this one is it is very real. It's about a guy who had a family and essentially led a double life, and they call him the Iceman because he would freeze and dismember his victims and then bury them, and it made it very difficult. The freezing process made it very difficult for them to solve these murders, and it's just, the movie's really well done. It kind of takes you through this tour of the 70s, and I believe you get into the 80s. It looks authentic. It's got some cool characters in it. Captain America makes an appearance. He's barely recognizable in this one, but I really enjoyed this one. If you like this sort of crime, the Scorsese kind of hitman stuff, Goodfellas, you're gonna really dig this one. And I know there's a lot of people that missed it because it really flew in under the radar when it came out. Another one that's not really a horror movie, but it appeals to horror fans, is Sweeney Todd. Now, if you followed me for a while, you know I've not really been a fan of Tim Burton's work over the past, I don't know, 15 years. I really liked his 90s stuff, Edward Scissorhands, Batman. I really like those movies. Really don't like all the remakes, and I just don't like what he's been doing. But Sweeney Todd stuck out to me, and I am also not someone that really likes musicals. I enjoyed watching this one. Now, I will be honest, I only did watch it the one time, but I liked it a lot. If you somehow overlooked it, if you're not a musical person, if you're not really a Tim Burton person, you might want to give this one 15 minutes. You might dig it like I did. But for real horror fans, one of the just best space horror movies ever made that's not Alien is Event Horizon. This is a cult classic. It is dark. This one is just really cool. This is one of those movies everybody's seen yet everybody hasn't seen. Like, everybody that's probably watching this has seen it and has recommended it to somebody at least once. I really like this one. It's one of those little horror movies I end up watching, not every 12 months, but probably once every 4 years or so. Like, it's been a while. It's like, oh yeah, like I get excited to watch Event Horizon. It has been about 4 years or so since I saw it last, so you can bet your ass I will be watching Event Horizon within the week. Two quick recommendations for kids and the family. Mouse Hunt is coming to the platform. This one really got a lot of negative reviews when it came out. It is silly, it is dumb, but it's really kind of beautiful. Number one, it looks amazing. It's got a really just kind of rich yet dark kind of look to it. So it looks fantastic. I love the way this movie looks, but it's fun. It's interesting. Christopher Walken has a really bizarre performance in it as the exterminator, and I really enjoyed it. I've been wanting to watch it with my son for a while. Almost rented it. It's coming to the platform. Another one, you can bet your ass I'll be watching it. Another one for the kids, and really hipsters as well, or millennials maybe, is Space Jam. This is a terrible movie. If you like it, that's fine. The reason you like it is because of its silliness. It really is just... It's so weird, and part of the reason it's not very good is like the original creators of and voices of a lot of these classic cartoons were not involved due to age mostly, and some of them were not alive anymore. Some of them are just not able to do this type of work anymore when this movie came out. So it sort of detracts from the authenticity, and then just sort of the premise is silly. And another thing that's really kind of crazy about this one, you kind of have to be careful with kids now, is it essentially encourages juicing. The way that they win the basketball game in this movie, spoiler alert, is they drink like this chemical juice that makes them get super muscular. So it is not an anti-doping movie at all. But that said, it's fun, it's family friendly, and even if you're not at the family age yet, odds are you saw it when you were a kid, and it would just be fun to revisit this one. For some action movies, Hard Rain is actually one with Christian Slater that I happen to really like. Now, it is sort of a B-level action movie. By no means is it a masterpiece. By no means is it a classic, but it's really enjoyable. Essentially, a bank heist takes place during a massive flood, and the cool thing about it is there's sort of like boat chases. They're on like these John boats and jet skis at night. They're going through this town, and the water kind of keeps rising. So it's just kind of a cool scenario. It's the type of stuff you sort of imagine when you're, at least little boys. It's the type of like stuff you imagine when you're playing with your friends as a kid, and it all gets acted out in this kind of cool way. And it's done and it's all real. I mean, it is a sound stage mostly, but it's real water. It's not CGI and all that stuff. So it's back when they used to blow stuff up for real. It's real water. It looks good, and it's fun. I really enjoy it.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
Another classic action movie, The Running Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just like Space Jam, this is not a very good movie, but it is so enjoyable to watch. It's kind of got that American Gladiator feel to it. He's got some incredible one-liners in this one. There are elements of the premise that are just so stupid, but the flavor of this one from every angle is just so fun to watch. I'll watch this one within the coming week as well, even though I've seen it and even though it's not particularly good. Another action movie that kind of got overlooked, Breakdown. It's a Kurt Russell. Essentially, he's almost the only person in the movie for most of it, but essentially, it's from the 90s, and essentially his wife disappears. They're on a road trip, they break down, hence the title, Breakdown, and a trucker picks her up so that she can make a phone call, and then she's gone, and he has to figure things out. So you get sort of that investigation element in there, and then the cool thing about this one is you're gonna think I'm full of shit. It's not really an action movie for the first half, but then it really starts to unfold, and this regular guy really finds himself in some really perilous situations, and then it just like turns out into an all-out action movie with this massive car chase at the end. So the reason I've always liked this one is it's kind of a sleeper. It's kind of just one of those little thrillers from the 90s, and then the wheels, no pun intended, the wheels literally come off, and this one just gets really wild towards the end. And then finally, for a classic selection on the list is Escape from Alcatraz from 1979, starring Clint Eastwood. This is one of the better prison movies ever made. The reason I say that is I'm working on a list of some of the best prison movies ever made. Movies like Papillon, obviously Shawshank Redemption. The list is fairly long, so trying to figure out where things get placed is difficult, but it would probably still make the top 10. It's got a very, very good escape sequence that essentially takes up most of the movie. Almost like a heist format. You see all of the planning and then the actual escape, and this is based on a true story, the actual escape takes place over maybe the last third of the movie, so it's very long. So for that, it's really enjoyable, really well done. This is Clint Eastwood really in his prime, so I highly recommend watching that as a classic one. If you somehow missed it, if you're younger, you've never seen it, if you want to watch an older movie, this is a very, very good one to go with. You're not going to be disappointed. But those are my picks. Those are some of the best ones. There are some other good selections coming later in the month. This is the best of what's coming on the 1st. So as of this video getting released, you can watch all of these on Amazon Prime right now. If you like the Amazon Prime recommendations, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out if I need to keep doing them. I know you all love Netflix. This month, Prime just happens to be doing it better. I am not sponsored by either one of them. I just want to tell you the best stuff to watch, and Prime is going to have a good month this month. So hopefully you got at least a couple of good recommendations out of that. Movies you haven't seen. Let me know what you have seen. Let me know what you haven't seen. Let me know what you're going to watch in the comments. I will read them, but I will keep making videos like this as long as you keep watching them. But thanks for watching this one, and you will see me next time.